is an Egbete community situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes
Well, top of the morning to you. This is This Morning on ITV, and I am Anuoluwapo Stevens right here in our Benin Network studio. So over the next 3 hours, we have an amazing lineup of conversation just for you. And also, I would be joining my colleagues in Abuja and in Lagos to also run us through what they would be talking about today over there. So it's going to be an amazing one. All you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So just before we move on to our conversation for today, we're hearing in the news as regards the renegotiation of the ASU's agreement. That's ASU and the federal government. And we're also hearing latest report of mismanagement of funds and all of that. Now, let me quickly join my colleague right there in our Lagos studio. Patricia, good morning and good to see you.
Good morning, Anu. Good to see you. And thank you for introducing me. How is Benin this morning?
Well, Benin is great. How is Lagos today?
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Okay, so I'm not here alone. I have, oh, sorry, I'm not here alone. I knew your beauty took me away.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Wilson. Wilson, you know, Wilson has always given me the strength to push on. So he's here with me this morning, looking so handsome.
Oh, there, Patricia. Well, it's a wonderful Monday morning. You know, so many things happened over the weekend. Of course, I know you look radiant as usual. You know, so many things have been going on, talking about the housing renegotiation, 40% addition. Just sensing the situation whereby all the arms of the government will start warming up also for an addition. It seems to be the trend in Nigeria. Oh, you've given us 40% addition. What about us? Get to see doctors, get to see civil servants, still clamoring because, come on, the economy is bad at its ease right now. You know, they need someone to be at the helms in trying to project or fight for the welfare of workers. Us have been able, in one way or the other, succeeded in grabbing that 40% addition. Do you think that all the arms of government, talking about the civil servants right now, the civil service, would just fold their arms and watch it roll by? They too, they'll be fighting for their own. After all, it's part of the national cake.
Okay, Wilson, thank you. But then again, do you think ASU won't come up after some years later to ask for more addition? Because this has been on even when I was in the university.
Yes, it's true. They could tell you that they had an agreement with the federal government, and this time around they've not really assented to that particular agreement. But this time I believe that this administration is making it possible. It was signed, sealed. Remember one part of it, the delivery part of it, after the signing and everything. What next?
We hope it's delivered.
Anyway, so what we have again today, talking about politics, right?
Crisis in Rivers State. Rivers State again. Rivers State every day. We'll see in Rivers State every day. The impeachment. How is the process going?
Anyway, you get to hear some lawmakers coming into the scene saying, yes, they're for the impeachment of Fubara. Some will just retract, saying they're not part of it. So it's like a topsy-turvy situation, push and pull. Some said Fubara, you know, just gave the master stroke by the campaign from PDP
to APC.
To the APC. And this time around, some are saying Wike may not have the power to touch him, just like the way he did, you know, in a way, it's not people like saying I was one responsible for slamming without 6 months suspension and all that. But right now, Fubara is talking tough. Others are saying what Fubara did is wrong. The question now is, what was the agreement signed for him to return? Is there any breach in that particular agreement? How come lawmakers will be like, this will be our next step? Is it about loyalty? If they are loyal to Wike? Are they loyal to APC? Is it about the fight right now between Wike and the APC, whom Wike worked for Mr. President to become Mr. President? No, the factors just keep on coming up.
Anyway, Wilson, let's go back to Benin, where Anu is seated. Anu.
Wilson, it's an ongoing conversation with Rivers State. Also, over the weekend, we saw the governor, Sim Fubara, saying he received a love letter and the people of Rivers State should not worry. Well, we saw him at ease and laughing over everything. But anyway, I'm sure that you would do justice to the conversation this morning. There's a lot of things to talk about. Over the weekend, we saw a bit of interesting, shocking revelation come out from one of the main 001 of the ADC, talking about the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar. We saw in the news that his son has defected to the APC, and then we saw him reacting to what happened. We saw the son saying he had to do it because he believes in this administration, and of course social media was agog with everything. But right here in our Benin Network studio, that's going to be our main attention, talking about ADC coalition and the 2027 prospect challenges and everything in between is going to be our main focus this morning. Of course, we'll have our guest join in to break down on this and give you full details, to dissect everything and more right here on the show. Well, we'll quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to see what the newspapers have in stock for us this morning.
Situated in the majestic city of Benin, the home of culture.
Welcome back. You're onto This Morning on ITV, and now we'll move over to a couple of national dailies this morning. I have The Guardian, The Nation, The Punch, and a whole lot of others. But we'll kickstart today with the Daily Sun newspaper, and the major headline says, IMF gives recipe for job losses in Nigeria. Subwriter says, insist workers must acquire additional skills, need education reforms, innovation. On page 2, you get details of that story. ADC demands clarification on U.S.-Nigeria health MOU on page 27. In business news, CBN export gains drive $50.67 billion inflow in 1 year. On page 25, more details of that story. And moving over to a couple of national interesting headlines this morning. Police nab 3 suspects over alleged murder of a woman. 8 others in Kano State. On page 4. You get details of that. And finally, on the Daily Sun this morning, wanted drug kingpin Canmore arrested 12 years after killing 3 NDLEA officers. Well, still on page 4, you get details of that story. Now, away from the Daily Sun newspaper, let's move over to the New Telegraph newspaper. And on the front page, the major headline says, precision airstrikes, 40 terrorists killed in Borno as NAF foiled planned attacks. Subwriter says APC chieftain abducted from office in Ondo as Amotekun boss raises the alarm over influx of northerners into Ondo. Why peace part with bandits hasn't tamed insecurity by lawyers. On page 2, 5, 14, 16, and 28, you would stay abreast with all of that information. Now, away from that, rising poverty can undermine credibility of 2027 elections. Rising poverty can undermine credibility of 2027 elections. Who is speaking? Haruai. Right on page 2, more details of that story. Now, finally, on the New Telegraph newspaper, Greenland, Europe won't be blackmailed, Danish Prime Minister says. Subwriter says, as NATO allies unite over Trump's threat. On page 4, you get details of that. Kindly pick up a copy of the New Telegraph newspaper. Now, away from that, we move over to the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the major headline says, 6 new capital rules stir anxiety, stress test portfolio managers. On page 5. While still on The Guardian this morning, NAF kills over 40 insurgents, disrupt Borno on page 28. Federal government bans mining activities within 10-kilometer radius of bridges nationwide. On page 26, you see details of that. Pengasin pushes for minimum wage replacement with sectoral CBAs on page 26 still. In business news, World Bank large-scale rural road investments key to Nigeria's food security goals. And finally, on The Guardian today, federal government to inject 30 billion naira in 74 federal vasties as union urge part execution. Well, we hope to see that scale through speedily and successfully. Now, away from that, let's turn our attention to The Nation newspaper. On the front page of The Nation newspaper this morning, it says, recapitalization, 20 banks in race to escape CBN hammer. Subwriter says financial institutions weighing options of downgrading status. Well, also on the front page this morning, ICPC files charges against Zekome over ownership of Useni's UK house. Subwriter says, I got disputed property as gift for election petition cases. SAN insists. We have no record of passport used in UK land registry, says immigration. Well, to stay abreast with the story, on page 3, you get details of this. And in sports, brave Senegal stun host Morocco to claim second AFCON title on page 6. And business news, banks offered 27% interest on savings, charged 60% on loans on page 13. Oyor gives 25 million naira cash to families of slain forest guards on page 4. And finally, ARCO Group hails Uku on global recognition by Marquis Who's Who. On page 3, you get details of that. And finally, on the newspaper review segment, we turn our attention over to another major headline this morning. Well, this time around, the Punch newspaper is up next. And it says, petrol war. Importers outpace Dangote with 62% supply in 2025. Subwriter says federal government reports high stakes struggle for Nigeria's petrol market as 15% fuel import duty looms. Federal government report shows high stakes struggle for Nigeria's petrol market as 15% fuel import duty looms. On page 30, you get details of the major headline on the Punch newspaper. Or still on the Punch, cash rush. ATM withdrawals jump 198% to 36 trillion naira. On page 34, more details on that. 30 billion naira relief, Oyo cries politics as Makinde faces EFCC petition on page 9. Well, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we see picture, a wonderful, beautiful, celebrated picture of the winners of AFCON 2025, as it says, drama as Senegal beat Morocco to claim AFCON title. INC protest over Fubara impeachment plot on page 20. Motorists stuck as multiple coalitions ground Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on page 4 and 5. 2027, my re-election unstoppable, OT tells Orji Kalu on page 20. APC rules out automatic tickets for defecting governors on page 2. And finally, federal government allocates below 1% to 2026 budget to fight poverty. Well, that's all we have this morning on the newspaper review segment. Do well to pick up a copy of any of the national dailies to stay abreast with what is going on right now in the country. Well, we'll quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to our first conversation of the day. Well, it's good to know that you're still there. This is This Morning on ITV. And let me quickly say hello to my colleague in Abuja Network Studio. Good morning, Joseph Kadiri. How are you doing today?
A very good morning to you, Anu. I'm doing great. I trust you are doing very well. It's been a long while, but you look very gorgeous, I must say. Abuja is very, very beautiful this morning. Well, the Harmattan, not really cold, but it's dusty, and most persons in the city have sore throats. Well, we just hope that in the coming days, the dust will simmer down. And of course, what we intend to do this morning on the program is to look at the agreement, proposed agreement, so to speak, by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the federal government. For those who have taken a look at that agreement, you discover that it's all about ASUU, it's all about salaries, all about pensions, allowances, university, primary and secondary school. So it's just all about them. I only saw one item that talks about research. And for me, if we need to move away from what is termed half-baked graduates, there is a need for staff, academic staff, lecturers to be neck deep into research and development, because it's what you have that you can give out. So if research development is not carried out at a regular interval, what would the student be getting from the lecturer? So that is the only thing I see that is, for me, important, irrespective of the fact that their welfare is also key. But if you now give welfare, increase salary of about 40% and all of that, and there's nothing to pass on to students, is tantamount to nothing. So we'll be looking at that in the course of the program this morning, Anu.
Absolutely, and we're also seeing in the news that all may not be well following the latest agreement between the federal government and ASUU over conversation regarding mismanagement of funds and all of that. But I trust that you will do justice to the conversation. Thank you so much, Joseph Kadiri. We'll join you in a moment. Now, back here in our Benin Network studio, a whole lot of things to talk about, but I have my guest seated with me in the studio as we dive our attention over to politics, as everything is all gathering towards the 2027 general elections. We have seen new political parties rise up, new coalition movement, and one of which that has caught so many Nigerians' attention is the ADC. And there are those who would say that that is now the major political party in Nigeria, because when we look at the saga that has been going on in the PDP, an unending one will begin to ask questions about the state of other the opposition political parties in Nigeria. So that's our main attention this morning. The ADC coalition movement, the challenges and prospect as we move towards the 2027 election. Now, I have my guest with me in the studio. He is Dr. Patrick Awo-Osage Esquire, a lawyer and a political analyst. Good morning and good to see you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning.
Right. You look great, by the way.
Thank you for the compliment, and you are not looking bad either.
Thank you so much. So let's dive into the conversation. When you think and look about the ADC coalition party, what do you make out of it, and why do you feel it is gaining great momentum as we speak? Well,
it's a common thing that's been happening over time, over the years, and in political activities like this. You know, what actually happened, politics is about interests most of the time, as it were, not about the people. That's why personally I have a little dislike and detest for the actors and the way they carry on with the so-called political activities. Now, everyone moving to the so-called ADC, like, is it ADC now?
ADC, yes, the coalition party.
It's sounding so much like a military title, like the ADC of stuff like that. So now looking at it from that perspective, the aggrieved people within the PDP circle, the APC, and all other political parties that may not have been so that relevant, they want to come
form a coalition to find a way to unseat the incumbent now. I think that's just the whole idea. And the challenge most of the time is that they all come with, we are going together, we want to rescue the nation, we want to survey this, the economy is tumultuous, it's trouble for the commoners. That's not the truth. We all know, because it happened over and again. The moment you gain ground and get in, you repeat the same folly that you claim they have repeated or they've been perpetuating over time. I think that's the challenge. So here and now, we know that people like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, and a whole El-Rufai, whole love for Ahmed Tinubu and so many others that have formed this ADC. They are after, we want to get in. Your interest, their interest, not national interest, not the interest of their people, their personal interest. I think that's the problem I have. So I did, okay, go ahead.
So basically you're saying it's a case of power grabbing for the bigwigs.
That's correct, exactly, that's what it is. Because if it would have been a laudable idea, if it's all about the people, the commoners, the average person on the street, what have you done? Okay, you, a former governor, former vice president, let's really look critically at it. We know you are so wealthy. Obasanjo, the former president, told us how wealthy you are. I was in Dubai for several years ago, and I saw some of his stuff. His activity, his name is a big name there. So a man of such caliber and status that we have come to know, what have you actually done for the Nigerian people? You have so many young unemployed folks, you have so many young children out of school, you have so many, what projects, maybe there are, I don't know. I really want to see what he has really done outside the political party that everybody know him as one-time vice president. The same thing goes for the El-Rufai. He was minister of FCT, he's enjoyed so much from 99. They joined the Abdusalami Abubakar's time to bring in the new era. And what have you actually done other than being 2 times governor of Kaduna State and minister of FCT, and and back and forth trouble with your friend and brother who you helped, according to you, to the Senate, and I see that she was it, Sani or something, and then a whole lot of back and forth. I am not really saying, and I've seen individuals that have not tested political power. They have done so much for the average. And I could see young men having NGOs here and there, having solicited funds here and there to help the common. So if you are saying you are grabbing or you want to rescue the nation, they always target like you are rescuing. Right. Rescuing who? Is it the market women or the children or the teachers, or who are you actually rescuing? You're actually doing this to just gain relevance because you feel power is so wonderful. What's his name again? It's not, Julius Caesar has always said, is it Julius Caesar now that said, just break the law, ensure you perpetuate yourself in that office, and then you become the law. Okay, he said, I crossed the Rubicon, and when I got there, I actually became the law.
Now, before I even go over to the next question, because you say that they just want to gain power for their own selfish interest and reason, and there is nobody to rescue. So with all that's going on in the country as regards security situation, poverty situation in the country skyrocketing and all of that, you feel there is nothing needed to be done?
You really want my sincere opinion? There's no security issue in Nigeria.
Really?
I'm telling you the truth.
Of persons being kidnapped every single day. I know
this happening. Hold on. The will. Abacha, president of the head of state, one-time head of state, Abacha, he told us clearly that insurgency that lasts beyond 48 hours. Oh no, the government of the day has a hand in it. I was in China. I just came back a few days ago. I spent all my Christmas, or not Christmas, after Christmas, I left. And I had my wallet. I got into a taxi, I have never been there. I've been everywhere before, but not been there. So I just wanted to see what's really happening here. Let me have some time here. And I went, and I left my wallet with dollars inside. And my ATM or my ID card, I was tired. I slept off in the taxi. So when I got off the taxi, I realized that my wallet was no longer with me. And I was confused. Really, I didn't know what to do at that instant. Okay. Then I now asked a couple of, they said, don't worry. I said, why will I not worry? My money is gone. I was a little bit tensed. They said I should just go to the police station. I got to my hotel. Now, to cut a long story short, the police used their surveillance camera to ask me what time. I was able to guess. They used it to track until they got me getting into the taxi, and they zoomed the taxi's number, and they gave me the taxi station. It took a couple of days. I got it back. What I'm trying to say is, if you go there and they'll tell you, don't worry about your books or your stuff, that this is China, no problem. What are we saying? That everybody is watched. So if I can watch, if there are people who are being watched, these are not rockets, it's not rocket science. It's not a heavy technology. It's just footage camera you can install around. So we will know who is who. And if you need might, Roger Master said might is right. You have America there. You have all the big nations there. Why can't you align with them? And if you are really willing to solve the security so-called problem, if it's not a game, then you will install these footages and cameras, then you know who is who. We have had that helicopters bring stuff for the militants or those folks. Right. We've had so many things like that. So what I'm saying, why I will never believe, now during campaigns, you see them travel everywhere. The political actors, they go everywhere. They are not kidnapped. You've not heard that they are kidnapped. They said
they have their own security.
Oh, they have their own security.
Following them everywhere.
I disagree. Those guys are terrible. They could have stopped them, bump into them, at least shoot at their vehicle. You don't hear things like that. What security are we talking about? No, nothing like that. I'm surprised that, see, and those guys, they are even saying that they have alliances. We had a lot of talk around the military circle that, look at you guys are wasting your lives here. Anyway, let me leave that. The point I'm making here is this. If you are willing, if you are really willing, if the leadership, they are willing to curb and solve this problem, it can. I don't really feel scared that there is insecurity. No, I don't believe in it. I'm very, very sincere.
Okay, let's move over to another major part of the conversation. Now, when we look at the ADC coalition movement, we look at NNPP, Labour Party, Obedient Movement, and the PDP. What would you say are those things that actually distinguish ADC coalition party from other opposition parties in Nigeria? The
retired generals in the politics of Nigeria, they are in ADC. So if you look at it, all the big names you know, they are there.
But shouldn't that give them an edge to win the election because they've had prior information and prior, what's the word now, history about governance in Nigeria?
That's correct. But the man that is president is not a mean man. He's the proverbial cat with 9 lives. So Ahmed Tinubu is not a child in the game. So a man that have never lost elections before. You should understand he has several strategies. I call him the Nicolo of our contemporary time. That's how I would classify him. I have my love for him in some ways, and I also have my detest for him. So he doesn't have to be all there is. I see Tinubu becoming president the second time. I know a lot of people will say, what are you saying? Things are so hard. The truth is not about what is hard or what is wrong. It's just the commoner on the street that is talking like that. These people don't know about what you are talking about. If you be close to any of the political big, they don't really understand what you are saying. Because when you say Nigeria is poor, they wonder what you are saying because you seem not to be saying well. Now, Ahmed Tinubu, for instance, now, you don't know where he's going to. Have you heard him say anything now? You just heard that some people are pulling from their party, from coming to the APC and whatever, and somehow issues are happening. He's going to come up with this big surprise. That's how it works. And then that you've been there several years. Oh, a man that left governance since 2007, he didn't contest any election. He sustained himself till the time he ran for presidency. You should understand such a person. I remember when I was a copper in Ekiti State, there was some issues. And the governor was having issue with the House of Assembly. He simply told the House of Assembly to ignore the governor, that he will single-handedly take care of them. Yes, it was the news around town then. And he did. And he bought them SUVs. I mean, from nowhere. What I'm trying to say is that he has been able to win the love of so many people. The so-called persons that are also with them in the so-called ADC now, they also have alliances with him. And that's why some of them that are there now may have been planted by him. So you know the strategy he's operating by. That's basically what's going to give him an edge over this article. No, look at the way he brought in Buhari and so many other persons that he have been able to put in position. So for me, I honestly believe Ahmed Tinubu in this will still win the elections. I believe so.
Okay,
I believe
so interestingly, wouldn't it actually raise an eyebrow that while some are singing praises of our president and this administration, others, as you said, the common man on the street is feeling the pain and feeling the hint, and then you are saying that all of those political bigwigs, they have no clue. But is that not a clear case of losing touch of what is going on with Nigerian, an average Nigerian? And don't you think that should be truly worrisome?
Do you think they care about? I don't. You know, well, media and I've
So
not
why
seen
are
it
they in office? It's to serve the people.
No,
It's
that's
all
not
about
true.
service.
That's what they say. That's what is documented. That's not what is done. Nobody gets in there and starts serving the people. Who's serving the people? I just cited an instance. You could set up an NGO, and I will see you, at least my NGO fed about 1,000 persons a cup before I traveled. Just fed people to eat from nowhere. You could set up one tomorrow, and you'll be able to, you will mean well for the people. See, the moment you cross from that level to becoming an office holder, just assume I'm the governor of the state, for instance. What comes to me? You see people coming, the party stalwarts, they start coming, demanding for this and that and this and that. Then before you know it, they know everything you are going to receive. And they calculate it and give you a sharing formula. The moment you decline that sharing formula, they start fighting you. They start telling you didn't go to school. They start telling you didn't do this or you didn't do something right. The election that brought you in, you didn't win primaries. A lot of distractions. So when you see, instead of me to lose at both ends, okay, let's negotiate. So they are there. Any government in power, they call them AJIP, any government in power, they are there moving around. That's how they have made their money. That's how they live. So these characters and these shenanigans, they are the trouble that have actually taken over. Not the leader himself, like Governor Pueblo now. From the way for instance, let's look at when he came on board. I could see the desire in him. Are you getting it now?
Right.
But look at what is going on in the state. Okay, just look at his hometown. Look at kidnapping. The man is overworked now. That is politics for you. And there are some persons fanning this embers into flame. And before you know it, you start hearing he didn't do anything. He get distracted. Leaders the kind of leadership we have here is different from what you have elsewhere. We're in somewhere like in China, for instance. Now, we just quickly say this. Now, you see the leader, they are even begging him to remain. Just remain. Come, don't leave. We won't let you go. Just imagine, that's impact. And if he's in this country, they will bring him down. So it's not that it's better than us, it's that the system there is healthy.
Right.
Here, you have a very funny system, and that's the problem we have. I don't know. I just trust, I pray to God that God helps us, but again, men should be willing to take decisive action and do the needful for themselves.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about decisive action, over the course of the weekend, we saw a shocking news of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's his son defecting to the All Progressive Congress, APC, and a lot of questions online and also offline asked a lot of questions. If the former vice president's son do not believe in his father's ideology, why should Nigerians follow or believe his own ideology? Well, all of that and more we'll talk about after this break. I still have my guest in the studio, Dr. Patrick Awo Osage Esquire. Please join us again. ADC coalition prospects and challenges as we get together towards the general election come 2027 has been our major focus this morning on ITV right here in our Benin Network studio. My guest, Dr. Patrick, moving back to you. So I did talk about the interesting movement we saw, the defection of the former vice president's son down to the APC. What do you make out of all of that?
Like I said, it was the former governor, Comrade Adams Aliyu Shomole, that said, you know, you could be in a particular political party in the morning and the evening you have moved to another. It's just the same thing. So I don't wonder why people feel the political parties are different. They're all one and same. So the moment you start understanding it like that, the better for all of us. You know, Winston Churchill said, politicians make statements that they don't take to account. They are wondering why you took it so seriously. That's what Winston Churchill said. As noble, as distinguished as Winston Churchill of our time. Now, you expect, it's just one of those things they do. The song will just play down there and they are together. Just the way some of the ADC folks are with, you know, with the APC. And some, just like, there's just a game. It's just a game. That's what it is. That's how I see it. He said, well, I should start analyzing that. Look at now, he's having some issue. The father's is no, that's not true. I even believe that the father sent him there. That's how politics work. You need to have your eyes everywhere.
Do you have proof to that?
I'm a lawyer. I don't have proof. I said I believe.
You believe
I didn't say, oh, I have proof. I don't need to investigate that. There are things you don't even investigate, that you just know by the operation of activities that have happened prior to that time. You know that this is what it is. It's just one of those games. They are not enemies, and don't get it wrong. You know, the problem with Nigerians is that they believe the political actors, they are enemies. Like Ahmed Tinubu is enemies with Atiku Abubakar. No, they are all friends. This is a game. This is just their craft. Just like lawyers arguing in court, you use some very, very funny language at yourselves. You are in court, you are arguing back and forth. So what do? And he said, look at, you even call the court's attention that look at the way he's addressing you. You know, at the end, they still sit down together in dinner and eat and drink together. So that's how politics is.
And I'm sure as we get to move forward, we would still see other shocking revelation towards the general election come 2027. We'll take another short break. Please join us again. Well, joining us right now in the studio is Barrister Matthew Idagese, a constitutional lawyer, to help us dissect the ADC coalition movement, prospects and challenges. Good morning, Barrister Matthew. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I would love to have your insight over all that you have observed over time with the ADC coalition movement, the prospects.
I think in Nigeria we use language without even appreciating the content or the meaning of the word. Coalition is not the right thing to call that arrangement. Coalition means different groups coming together and they retain their identity.
Right.
And they come together temporarily to achieve a purpose. That is why it is called coalition, coming together of different groups with different identity to converge and achieve a common purpose. That is not what happened under this arrangement. ADC is a party registered under the Nigerian law. It's on the INEC register as a political party. So individual coming to join a party cannot amount to being a coalition. It's not a coming together of different parties to now join, to now empty into the ADC. No. They are individual politicians coming into a party as members of that already existing party. They didn't come together to form that party. It's already in existence. So I think it should be called, it's not coalition, it should be called
ADC movement?
Huh?
Movement?
It's not a movement. It is just what it is. People
Right.
coming to register with a party.
The ADC party would say.
Yes, it's a party like every other party.
Okay.
And it's like me and you coming to join ADC. We cannot call ourselves coalition. It doesn't make ADC it's a political party, just like every other party. If any of them had gone to join PDP, will you call it a coalition? Or if any movement from APC to PDP, is it a coalition? No. So this is the same situation. There is no coalition anywhere as far as ADC is concerned.
I think one of the major reasons why it is being tagged as a coalition is because we have individuals from the PDP, the APC, the NNPP, the Labour Party, everybody coming together to join the ADC.
Everybody you see today won't belong to another party. So anybody joining a party, except you are just attaining adulthood, you probably want to move from one party to another. Doesn't make you a coalition.
All right, now moving forward, what do you make out of the bigwigs that we have in the ADC? And do you think that this is going to give them an added advantage to clinch the power of certain 2027 election?
What will give them advantage? I don't understand the question.
The fact that we have bigwigs, we have the likes of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, we have the NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and a list of others, and also Peter Obi. Do you think it's going to give them an added advantage to win come 2027?
Like I said earlier on, none of them is coming to ADC with his own party. They are coming as an individual. If they have collapsed their party and moved all the members and even cancelled the registration of that party, to now empty into ADC, we call it coalition. It's just individual people moving into a party. The advantage they will have depends on how they are able to achieve proper organization and mobilization of the people who will cast the votes. Power belongs to the people. They electorally determine who rules in 2027. It's by vote cast. It's not by movement of one. When you say big wig, every big wig has one political, one vote. Unless you are able to mobilize big crowd, you're being a big wig with big Babariga doesn't make you have more than one vote. You can lose your own boots if you are not popular, even as a big wig. And being big in politics has to do with how much you are loved by the people in a democracy. It's not how much you have in your bank account. It's not the kind of limousine you ride. Because you can be reduced to a political nobody if the people decide to even vote against you in protest because they don't believe in what you represent. So if they are going to have any chance or stand any chance, the ADC now, they should put their hands on the plow and work seriously to get the people to believe in their arrangements in terms of what they are going to offer as an alternative to what is on ground. It's not a case just to take over power.
Right.
If the hunger for power is the drive, people will be scared because we are tired of power mongers in this country who come without vision and purpose for the people. Unless they're able to define and exhibit their vision, and it has to do with the welfare of the people and how we can lift the people from this present situation to a better standard of living, there will be no opportunity that they can tap on.
Right, thank you so much. Now, speaking about the people, as I move back to Dr. Patrick, what has been your observation so far? Do you think that that's the Nigerian people and the citizens have embraced the ADC? What do you think is going on right now?
I don't think they have embraced the ADC rather.
Why would you say that?
The truth is that the people don't even know what they want. You know, you must understand how they function. And why I would differ from what my very learned senior said, you know, is that these people, they are not the way we see them. They are led. Isn't it Professor Patrice Lumumba that said Africans are led by their stomach? It's what you have to offer. The mobilization he's talking about now, I know him very well. He's looking at, they don't think the way you think. You are a very serious and sound lawyer. No, they don't think. The common man is just a loaf of bread. And they are able to come around and throw some money around. They have mobilized them. Not somebody like you. And people like you are not much in society. So that's the point we are making. So these guys, they come up there. And while you were calling it coalition, he's defining, I will come to that now. These guys, they are actually, by law, he's a very serious lawyer. By law, they are in a party. But by principle, they still retain who they are. So at the end of time, everybody is going back to where they are. They are not going to remain in ADC. It's just a vehicle taking them to where they are going to before the battle starts again. So it's been like that. Now, basically, if you look at this mobilization of people, it's about giving them money. And the money is there to throw around. But the challenge they will be having is that the man that is president too, he is also a master in all these games. So you have the gladiators coming to show themselves. Atiku has been a personal friend and allied with Alhaji Abubakar, Tinubu, and a whole lot of them. They have all worked together. They know themselves. Rabiu Kangwaso and all those men, they have been together. So it's like they are the ones fighting. It's that they all know. It's just like two professionals fighting. So everybody is watching them. That's exactly. But the challenge, like I have said before, they just like you have a Lionel Messi, Ronaldo in football, for those that love football.
Right.
Being together or fighting, you know, you cannot actually predict. You will not be thinking, oh, no, Messi may perform, Ronaldo, you know, that kind of feeling. It's what it is now. But the truth is this, from the antecedents of who Ahmed Tinubu is, having won several elections from the election winning angle, and having a larger control, and above all, his president, having led a team that removed the president. These are some of the things you look at. Now you are president. You know, I told you about Julius Caesar and all those principles. They are working. They are real. And that's basically how I see it.
Okay, moving back to you, Barrister Matthew, do you agree in his line of thought that the people have no idea of what they want? And he also talks about the issue of stomach infrastructure, the weaponization of poverty. Do you think all of these are being done intentional to confuse the Nigerian citizen?
Sitting right here was a member of the National Campaign Council for Peter Obi presidential campaign. And I do know that the people of Nigeria know what they want. It was demonstrated in the 2023 election, where Tinubu himself lost Lagos. If it is about people not knowing what they want and throwing money around, who had more money than Tinubu in Lagos, where he has a sitting governor who was his own political son? There were more than money involved in that contest because people believe there was need for a change. So if Tinubu could lose his own Lagos, that has become his personal estate as at that time, even till now, you should know that when people have made up their mind and there is a resolve, you really cannot tell where you mount a jaded horse.
Right.
So I tell you, come 2027, people of Nigeria they will pursue what they want.
Okay.
Money may be a factor. It will not be a sole determinant.
Right, as we get to wrap up the conversation real quickly, I'd love to get both insights on it. There had been conversation over time as regards who is going to take what position in the ADC when we have the likes of Peter Obi, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and others. We even have Rotimi Amechi. Do you foresee another major challenge in the primaries of who would clinch the presidential post and also who would represent them for the VP?
Absolutely, it's going to be like that. It's going to be this, I want that. You see, back in time, I am not, I verily appreciate and understand what my late senior is saying. Back in time, if you look at the way politics have been played, the rigging system now has changed. They have changed curriculum in rigging. Now, when you create certain loopholes in areas, right? When you create it and it looked like, oh, you almost got there. If Tinubu had wanted to win Lagos, he could have won it.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Absolutely. Let me move back to Barrister Matthew. What's your take on it? As regards to the challenges, do you think we're going to see another major drama in the ADC for who's going to represent them and the VP post and also the presidential ticket?
The flag bearer.
Right.
Absolutely. It's a game of interest. And those who are converging and parading themselves as big wigs, they are going there with the entitlement mentality. Each and everybody going there and pretending to be or calling himself a big wig thinks it should be me. Right. It must be me. So that it must be me is going to lead to serious implosion because it has to be me and me alone.
So Emiloko will happen again.
So in the Emiloko in reverse mode, it's going to happen there. Atiku will want to insist that he's a perpetual contestant and he will not want to lose his title. So he might get the tickets. And that is where the problem will start, because it is the popularity of the person who gets the ticket.
Absolutely.
That will make the opposition attractive.
Right. And let's not also forget we have Peter Obi and the obedience movement right there as well. A lot of things to unpack and a lot of things to look forward to see as we move over to the 2027 general election. I really must thank you so much, gentlemen. Dr. Patrick Abo Osage, Esquire, a lawyer and political analyst, and also Barrister Matthew Adegase, constitutional lawyer. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, so that's how we get to leave the conversation here. Always an unending one, and a lot of Nigerians are looking forward to the drama that will unfold, especially with the ADC as we move towards the 2027 general election. My name is Anu Luwakpo Stevens. Catch you on the next round. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining, you're on to This Morning on ITV, and we're still here right here in our Benin Network studio. I have another interesting conversation as we get to tilt our attention over to Nigerians in diaspora, replicating the global experiences in local communities. And I have my guest, Mr. Tony Abu-Mary, veteran journalist, right here in the studio. Good morning and good to see you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
So what is the global quality of a Nigerian in diaspora? Do you think we here back at home and the Nigerians in diaspora, we have any differences? What are the similarities and the differences for persons who would live here and go over there?
Well, the differences basically is, I think, the policy, the culture, and the ways of the people. In Europe or America, their ways of life is quite different. From here, their culture, their system of governance is very, very much different from our own kind of system. Then when we suppose, ideally, what we copy there, what we learn there, I think is of positive, then we're supposed to make sure that we reciprocate it or bring it back home to improve on our society, because the system there are very stringent. You make any, if there's any infraction, it is treated as such. There's nothing like Godfatherism, my father is a general, nothing like that. The law take its course. That is what I'm trying to emphasize.
Right. So speaking about the law and the system, so we have observed over time that a lot of Nigerians, when you move over there, there are certain principles and regulations guiding how you operate there. And interestingly, we see them do likewise and obey to the core. And same set of persons return back home, and you see someone throwing off dirt out of the car, just, you know, leaving haphazardly. Why do we have that reoccurrence happen over time?
Again, I think habit ought to have been improved upon. I think those people embarking on such acts, maybe they've not really imbibed the culture of where they stayed. And moreover, maybe, I want to join them syndrome. Nigeria does these things this way, let me join them. And so I think there's going to be orientation towards that area. But my take is the people, if a diaspora behave as such, it's not really imbibed with the Western culture. It's not really well imbibed or, well nurtured by Western culture. When you are well nurtured, yeah, I think it will.
So how long do one have to stay there for you to imbibe the Western culture?
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Because, for instance, each country in Western Europe have their language. If you go to Germany, you have to speak German. You go to Holland, you have to speak Dutch. You go to Spain, you have to speak Spanish. So each country, and in doing this, you are assimilating. You are trying to adapt to their system. So it takes a lot of years to make sure you abide with the system. And it diffuses into you directly. Let me digress a little bit. The purpose I'm here is to appeal to our young generation in Europe that the social media should be used creatively. If I mean social media should be used creatively, you see the calumny be preached against Nigeria. And Nigeria don't have any other country. It's only these you people have. We have. Even I cannot exonerate myself, even if I have a nationality of another country, I'm still Nigerian. My family are here. So the recent trend of both here and people in diaspora preaching calumny against the state, or against politicians, or against any traditional culture, I don't like it. Neither we're supposed to be highlighting, buttressing on those natural endowments we are blessed with. than preaching calumny, bringing down syndrome, you know, heightening the politics, eating up the politics. It's not ideal, because when you rose this country, the Nigerians have nowhere to run to. It's a very large, you know, densely populated country. So I'm appealing to my colleague both at home and in diaspora. They should use the social media instead of antagonism, attacking personalities here and there, heightening, you know, and, you know, unfounded information should be discarded, please, and we should focus more. Oh, if you go to Ososo, there is a natural resource there to tap. If you go to Ekpoma, oh, this is what is blessed there that we should tap. The white men will also be interested to hear that, not, you know, calumny.
But aside the calumny that you said, and aside finding interesting personalities, don't you think social media is one big tool that a lot of Nigerians, both here and in diaspora, get to use to project the plight of the masses? And if nobody does it, maybe the federal government or persons who should be aware, who should take necessary actions, will not do same.
Yeah, I'm not, as a matter of fact, that's a very good point. I'm not talking as a politician. We should use it, not that you see anything wrong, corruption and all that, you should not preach against it. I'm not saying in that area. I am not in support for a corrupt government or government that does not take care of the people. I am not highlighting that areas at all. But for peace, and 2027 is by the corner, so for peace to reign in Nigeria, they should highlight the area of peace. I'm not saying, no, if government does wrong, you should not attack government. You should not advise, or rather the word, if you want to use attack, but use it constructively. We were there, we during military junta, the whole military administrator in this state has served them. This democracy people are enjoying. I know the little thing I did in this state. But we were able to fight it out to make sure that we entrench democracy in this state. People don't even know what it takes. They are the people making noise today, heating up the politics. But people really did, when the aviation was really on there, we are by the corner. Because the whole military administrator in this state, no one I was not a part of. These years back, very years back before I traveled. And another area we quickly dive to, our governor is a grassroots governor. There is something that is paining my heart in my community. So I want to make a very passionate appeal to the state governor, Senator Mondo Pebolo, to look at the road linking Ukmeno, Emuhi, Ugiame, Ukbogo, Ameriho, Aziz, because that used to be the traditional old road. So if that road is constructed, it will give shortcut to the Iruekme, or more concentration. And of course, those villages are really blessed with natural resource. I can stand up to say that. So I'm appealing to the state governor as a grassroots governor to really look into it and do it for my people.
Okay, now let's get back to the main conversation this morning. Nigerians and diaspora replicating global experiences in local communities. Now, for those persons who you have observed over time, who get to perpetrate some of the ill things on social media, and persons who have been there for a while, what are those global experiences, those beautiful things that a lot of Nigerians see in the diaspora that should be brought back home?
First, I think if you bring me back, I will start from, it is very, very unfortunate that people who are in governance, I can even personally attest to that, majority of them, they've lived in diaspora, they've lived in foreign countries, stayed there very well, they know the culture, but once they are in government, I don't know, I cannot define why they cannot replicate the abundant experience we had there to improve on our society generally, economically wise, social wise, political wise, because it is very, very different. There is dedication, and you do things right. But once they come here, I don't know what really come over them, that they cannot replicate the experience we have there to better the lot of the people. So they do pace me a lot, and I think we should also do much orientation in that regard to sensitize the diaspora. That is why I said it before, that we should make sure we preach more positive things of our country than the negative. That is where you will start from. You preach more of our positive ventures in the country. In we have intellectuals. We have we are well brewed. Even if some few people want to make sure damage the image of Nigeria, they cannot do it. This is our blessing. This is what we are blessed with. This is what we are blessed with. That is how I started. Absolutely. I didn't say you should not use social media to criticize. You should criticize when it is necessary. Okay. I am fully in support. I am fully in support of that. Okay. I am not a politician. I am not talking as one. I am just a concerned citizen. And before we wrap it up, please, I am using this opportunity to express my sympathy to the Enoji of Ekpoma, because what happened recently really touched me. He's a friend, he's a brother, and I really felt bad. I pray that God should give him that strength to withstand, that touch, touching his palace.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Tony Abu Mary.
Tony Abu Mary.
Abu Mary, thank you so much
formerly
for coming.
of Edo Broadcasting Service.
Thank you so much very much for coming. Now, we leave the conversation here this morning and hand over to our Abuja Network studio right after this break.
It is still this morning on ITV, bringing us to the Abuja Network Center, where we shall be looking at the agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The agreement has so many segments, including the welfare packages, increase of 40% salary proposal. It has funding for revitalization. The issue of National Research Institute is also captured in that agreement. But there is a major area in that agreement that needs to be looked into, which to an extent is the conflict the federal government has with the ASU, which has to do with fund management. They are pushing for tertiary institution staff support fund, but ASU is disagreeing with that. ASU believe that it's going to be a trap for them. Okay, to look at these, I have with me a political analyst. Via the phone lines, Ben Agunloye shall be looking at some of these issues with me on the program this morning. A very good morning to you, Mr. Ben. Happy New Year, I would say, because I've not seen you or heard from you all in this New Year 2026. Hello, Ben? Hello? Okay, just trying to do some catch-up before the program starts. However, you know, the different issues raised by ASU and the federal government last week when, of course, both of them were looking at ways to end strike, way improve the standard of education to stop the brain drain occasioned by frequent shutdown of schools. And there were series of, you know, items to consider in that agreement list. Let me get your remark concerning what we are having now, because because the agreement for Trinix to be the existing agreement entered between ASU and the federal government in 2009. So let's start by getting your remarks concerning the ability for both parties to sit on a round table to even discuss ways of ending the perennial issue of strike.
Yeah, I think that the fact that there is an agreement now is a very good development. At least that gives us that hope that perhaps the perennial strikes are going to be in check. Now, of course, the implication of that is that if you have a more stable university calendar, you will also be able to have better plans in the environment. Like we always say, elsewhere in the world, that the university is public does not mean that the government funded 100%. A lot of research will come from organizations, some other form of grants, and the rest will come. But because the calendars are not stable, then you see a situation where if I need a time-bound research in my company or in my private organization, I cannot rely on Nigerian Public University to run it because you don't know when next they are going on strike. So with the agreement, bringing calendar, I think it is a great development. Of course, resolving the issue of professorial pension, I think that is also great. Permanent secretaries are already enjoying that. When you become a general individual, I'm also sure that you enjoy that level of pension when you retire. So I didn't see any reason over time why that professor is different. So I think that with the new agreement, better days are ahead, and the professors should now be able to walk up to the point of retirement.
Okay, so now the first issue on that agreement is the fact that there should be 40% salary increase. And, you know, yes, they are lecturers, they are impacting knowledge on Nigerians and non-Nigerians, especially those that are coming in from the neighboring countries. But the 40% salary increase, do we have that kind of resources? Because it's one thing to agree, it's another thing to pay. And that is why we have these actions coming, you know, at a regular interval. While we think that government will meet up their demands and ask them to go back, after a short while, you see, well, that agreement has not been, I mean, that promise has not been fulfilled, and you see them again downtooling. So 40% salary increase, do we have that resources?
Well, I think that the nation has the resources. Because when you say 40% on what? They are already poorly paid. There are not been increases for a long time. So when you add up the 40%, the difference is actually not going to be so huge or so astronomical. We're talking about professors here. We're talking about lecturers. They possibly do not have the number of the Nigerian police, nor do they have the number of secondary school principals and teachers. So to a large extent, I think that is practicable.
Okay, now if you think that is fine, what about the agreement which includes better needs-based funding?
Your state should also be able to do that, because if you ask me, and I would always insist, Nigerian primary product is human resource, not petrol, not solid minerals. If we handle our human capital correctly, the whole world would have reason to import from us. We've got some of the best brains everywhere. So we only need to ensure that the academic system is stable and that we are training people. We should be training people. We should be graduating them. They should be able to work everywhere in the world. And like I would always insist, one of the skills we lack is that of language. And I hope that with the autonomy and the rest coming to the university, a means of ensuring that apart from English, Nigerian students can speak other UN languages. So that when they graduate here, the whole of Africa and Europe will be our home. We don't have to necessarily graduate people to go and queue in federal secretariat to get a job. So if you make these professors happy, I think that they will be able to do that. And if we export the talent, because people keep shouting about brain drain. No, we have more brains that we can train. It is the professors that will train them. So make them train more people. And then the world will be our home to feast on.
Okay, so there is salary increment and there is also improved pension. And this pension is going to be like those that the armed forces get. You know, for an army man who retires, he gets pension equivalent of his salary. And that is what is contained in this agreement, that professors, when they retire, they're going to be getting salary equivalent or pensions equivalent of their salaries. Is this humongous?
Of course, we might not say it's humongous, but it's what they don't actually earn as big. Now, what we should notice is everybody in Nigeria is underpaid, whether it's the doctor or the driver or the machine operator or the cleaner. Compared to other countries, Nigerians, our salaries are generally low. And that's why when people say you pitch doctor in Nigeria for doctor in the UK, I say no. For that same doctor, the cleaner in his office in Nigeria, can he compare his salary with the cleaner in the UK? The answer is no. So basically, giving them that lifeline to at least know that after the job, they have a life, I think is ideal. And when you say the professors, take note, they might not be carrying gun. They are also constant an army of students, some of who are not even interested in learning, going into research in environment where the electricity is never stable, where to make photocopy is war, where you will not get the
it is with technology. I'm sure that it will get back
intellectual front. They are warriors on the intellectual front, and we should treat them as such.
Okay, that is taken, and of course I agree with that 100%. But there's an area which I found very, very interesting, and my concern, or the concerns of Nigerians, will be how can it be sustained? You know, when lecturers talk about themselves, salaries, wages, pensions, and all of that, without talking about how the student can benefit from the system, so that the continuous cliche of, Nigerians graduates being half-baked can be addressed completely, is the fact that in that agreement, there is a section that has to do with research and development. And based on that, there is the need for the federal government to fund research, fund libraries, get the lab working, buy the reagents in the labs, and also provide all the equipment that students require. This is beautiful, but the concern is how can this be sustained?
Well, it is sustainable, very, very sustainable. Where the people graduating are able to add value in this system, the economy will continue to expand. And like I said, when it comes to research, check across Europe. I always insist, apply to more universities. The first question they want to ask is the source of your sponsorship for a PhD. And sometimes they tell you they do not have a sponsored topic for PhD. So you may not be admitted because their professors are already put to specific research, which are research for development. It's only in Nigeria, you see 100 people in the PhD class, who at the end of the day, their reports gather to the university. So basically, when you make the professors appear, when the system is more autonomous, then they can begin to decide more. And national economy. That value they are adding will attract endowment funds. I think that fund is just issues. It's creating the atmosphere for the right thing to be done, for the right knowledge to be impacted, for the right people blessed with talent. And the world, even though we have not arrived at the stage where we, by now the work and that is implemented as something that would live.
Yeah. Again, the network is not friendly at this moment, but we hope that it will be back. Yeah, good. Yeah, continue. We can hear you.
Okay. Now, what I was saying is continuity is not going to be a problem. If the initial takeoff point is done right, there would always be grants and funds across places that will go into the system, and there are enough people to do the research. So I think that funding will not hinder us from getting to everything.
Okay, we just hope that when all this come into place, the era where you have students share themselves into group to assess the lab because it is not enough, or the students are more than, or the labs is not up to the carrying capacity of the students, will be a thing of the past. But now, let's look at the conflict area, which has to do with fund management. This is an issue that both ASU and the federal government is really struggling to come to a compromise, to agree. You know that it has a section that talks about tertiary institution staff support fund, ISSF. ASU reject this part of the agreement. They believe that it is going to be a debt trap rather than a genuine funding for the institution. The TISSF has to do with a scheme introduced by government to improve staff welfare, but ASU is disagreeing with this. So it's a major issue because it borders on fund management. So what is your take on this?
Well, now, for me, any gray area or at any point where there are issues of contention, especially when it relates to fund management, I think there is always the need for everybody to tread with caution. Because when you set up a new body or an organization, sometimes rather than it achieve the purpose for which it was set up, you're going to see it enmeshed in the controversy of bureaucracy, where so much of the funds ended up funding bureaucracy rather than doing the purpose for which it was set up. I keep telling you that today, if you look at TED Fund, you look at PTGF and structures such as that, no university is getting close to what they expend on bureaucracy. So a new body or a new organ or a new structure may also connote some form of danger. However, the welfare of the staff, the welfare of the lecturers need to be ensured and need to be protected. So it's a function of, now when you say welfare, the welfare need to vary from time.
Yeah, you know the welfare.
They need to do. That whatever they need to do is done and done right, so that the rights and the need of the lecturers and the university community are not relegated to the background. There must be provision to protect everybody
Yeah, but are we not worried that most organizations, hello, sir? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are listening to me, okay, so you know that this support fund, institution staff support fund, most organizations want their organization to create, a line, a budget line where they can be supported financially. And the federal government just created this for staff of, for ASU member, academic staff. And they are saying, no, we don't need it. We don't need you to support us with any kind of fund. I find this very disturbing. If you look at that aspect of the agreement, it's very sumptuous. And why are they not jumping into the offer?
Look, like I said, once you come up with such statement, in TechFund today, what goes into bureaucracy is more than what goes into any university. So, as you, over time, had seen a few things. So, if they are raising objection, they would have their reason, and there should be a middle ground. But like I said, if you pay them well, if you make the system wrong, then they can do their research, they can do their job. So this issue of stipend coming in the name of support may actually not be necessary. They have been on the field for long enough, so they will know better. He said, he who gets the shoe knows exactly where it pinches. So if I have to be saying, I don't think anybody needs to insist on it. So it's something that should be left to a later date. We are okay if it becomes necessary, you can bring it in. But don't bring in a bureaucracy that will tomorrow become a new monster that everybody will. That might even begin to cause another round of strike because the funding there is possibly being mismanaged or the aim and the purpose is not achieved. So to me, at this level, whatever is leading to disagreement, let's keep it aside. Let's focus on the salary. Let's focus on the working environment. Let's focus on keeping the laboratory right. Let's focus on revitalizing the university system. Let's focus on capacity utilization, not starting new universities every day. No university in Africa has got the land in the University of Ilorin. 1/10 of the land has not been used. So why don't we improve on the infrastructure, expand the capacity, bring in more students, and let them learn in that environment, rather than have 6 or 7 universities in Kwara State, and then you're having 7 vice chancellors, you're having 14 or 21 deputy vice chancellors, when you actually can have one solid university that can admit maybe 30, 40, 50, 60,000 students and effectively accommodate and cater and provide for them. I think that is what should be more of a bigger concern to us. ABU has land, IFE has land. A number of federal university of technologies have land. But what percentage of their students are we presently accommodating?
Okay, I think this point is...
Yes, and so if you focus on all that, the issue of petty staff welfare may actually not be necessary. And I think that's what ASU is talking about. That there's the major in the major, rather than majoring in minor, they see that fund for welfare or support as minor. And they think that it should be left. And I think I agree with them that we did not deploy effort at doing the minor things when the major things are there neglected.
Okay, our time is really moving fast. Let's just run through the few questions I have left, which is also very important. You know, the withheld salary is also part of the crisis resulting to the category of fund management. Their salaries have been withheld for 2025. There are times that they didn't go to work, at the time that they were on the street, you know, protesting. And the government says, well, no work, no pay. And they're saying, no, you must pay. So how do we come out from this?
Well, you see, if there is a rule that says no work, no pay, and I think at the time the government also went to court to get some kind of injunction, perhaps there will be the need for a judicial resolution to such matters. For me, even if there will be amnesty, let me say that, because if you actually have not worked, the reality is you actually did not deserve to be paid. More so that there was, I think, a court injunction or something at the time that says don't go on a strike or some other things arranging it. But however, in the spirit of goodness, holiness, and in the spirit of peace, it is something that we will still encourage the federal government to look at going forward. Even if you are not going to pay it overnight, if you are going to pay it, maybe structure it over a period of time. It's something that the government should look into. But like I said, if you did not work, you actually should not hold everybody to ransom that you are meant to be paid. Because the practical reality was that while they were not teaching the university, while the public schools were shut down, a number of them were also doing part-time jobs. A number of them were teaching in the private universities. A number of them were doing several other things. But like I said, in the spirit of peace and in the spirit of progress, the government will need to look at how to go around it to ensure.
Yeah, but we know that ASU is not the only federal government employee that's done too. Recently, yes, it's not ASU is not the only federal government employee that done too.
Now we need to be clear.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Can you come?
Yeah, so I am saying that ASU is not the only federal government employees that down too. Resident doctors do, nurses do, and of course other labor organizations down too, and the government still pay. Why is that of ASU different?
Well, in all cases, there has to be negotiation and discussion. And like you said, there seems to have been a court case or something at that time relating to the National Industrial Court and some other stuff like that. Now, that's why we are saying if there are any legal conditions precedent upon why this is done, there may also be the need to find a means to clear up the judicial audit, and then federal government will now need to look at how best to go about it. But for the interest of peace and progress, they should consider as, and that I think is the practical reality here.
All right, I must thank you for your time with us on the program this morning. We have done so much to the ASU and federal government agreement. So many areas, about 40, points. But time is not our friend. Maybe we'll continue with that some other time. There is the issue of the IPPIS, which now has been replaced with UTAS, University Transparency and Accountability Solution, which now means that if that works, ASU will no longer be on the IPPIS. They will have their own system, but there will be transparency and accountability. So I must thank you for your time. We'll definitely look at other areas in the coming days. Thank you, Ben Agunloye, for your time with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we now move to Lagos Network Center for continuation of the program.
morning and thank you for joining us on TMI, on the continuation of TMI from our Lagos Network studio. Anyway, it's a beautiful Monday morning here in Lagos, and I have in the house with me my co-anchor, Wilson, looking so dashing, like I said before. Wilson, good morning.
Oh, Patricia, good morning. It's a wonderful Monday morning. You know, things do happen, politically speaking. After all, economically speaking, can just go on and on. Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to have you on set again, Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, today we'll be looking at the crisis in Rivers State, the process of impeachment by members of the House of Assembly in Rivers State. Well, we're not going to be looking at this alone. We have in the House our guest who is going to be discussing and analyzing the issue in Rivers State. Rivers has always been in the news for a recent time.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't know when that is going to stop or end. Anyway, we have in the House who is going to be helping us to analyze this problem, or let's say topic. In the House, we have Bishop James Ground Okocha. Bishop, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Always happy to be here.
All right.
I like the way you are looking.
Oh, thank you. It's like you peeped into my wardrobe.
Anyway, I guess it's
Patricia, you're the old one out right now.
No, I guess the two of you had a conversation to where...
Come on, right? Because we are going to dive into a danger zone.
I just want to find out from Bishop, how was yesterday match? Should I say congratulations to you? I don't know which country you were supporting, but how was yesterday?
What?
Wilson said, let's look at the legality and the impeachment process. Okay, it's been fought and back. They want to impeach. You remember they wanted to impeach. Now it has all started again. They want to impeach, and then it's been fought and back. So let me find out from you. As we all know, based on what is going on so far, do you think, or would you say, the process has been followed by the members of the due process has been followed by the members of the House of Assembly in Rivers State?
Well, thank you so much for bringing our attention to Rivers this morning. And we're using this as a case study to discuss Nigeria as a state. I don't know the impeachment that has ever followed due process in Nigeria. That's why most of the time after impeachment, you see the Supreme Court will nullify, will declare it null and void. Go and check the history of impeachment. It has been only based on personal reasons, vendetta. All right? You know, certain things you don't just have to talk. Certain things at times you have to look into the book, you know. I have something here that explains this process, which people should check. We are no more, it's not lawyers alone, people in judiciary, you know, or those lawmakers now. Before, you know, it's only the lawmakers know what happens around there, and the law interpreters. But right now, this is everything is in the open. You can check it. You and I will know that these people are not following the due process. Okay, look at number one. He said there has to be notice of allegation. You have to notify the governor, and after some days, all right, you have to serve him that notice officially. All right. Then after 7 days of receiving the notice, then you have to push motion for investigation. And this investigation will take 14 days. After the investigation, there has to be an appointment of investigative panel for them to look into the investigation. You know, the panel will come up with a report, and it is on the report of the panel, which will last like maybe 3 months. Then it is on their report that every other action should be taken. So do you think? Just check it.
And so you want to say the due process has not been
There has not been. This is a case like Ladoja and Adedebu. A godfather vowed to remove a governor just because of 1 or 2 interests that has not been covered. And I'm saying very categorically that Nigeria should outgrow this kind of politics.
All right. You talked about the stages. Because if you take a look at what happened over the weekend, people were served. They followed the first 2 steps you mentioned, remaining the investigative panel, and of course the 14 days notice. Do you think that these guys, they really followed due process? Because there's like an open letter. What was Fubara accused of? They said no. They sent it out to everyone that really cared. So no, they went through it properly, as in allegations were leveled against Fubara. Are those allegations not legit enough for his impeachment?
You know, like I said,
yeah,
I don't know if there is a panel that have constituted to look into it. I can allege of anything. I can just wake up, allege of anything, until it's investigated, proven. The open notification, open letter. You and I know what has been happening in Rivers State. Is it now that he came back that those things happen? Or did they happen before they had issues and the sole administrator came in and there was a reconciliation? So when did these things happen?
Okay, I'm coming to the reconciliation I was going to convey. Wilson,
yeah.
I thought there had been peace by the presidency, who had called these 2 parties together to make peace. What do you think is going on? And then the man has joined APC, so you would think that there will be more peace and a better leadership in Rivers State. But we're not seeing that now. They're still fighting. What's going on there?
I mean, going by what, you know, an APC chieftain said some time ago. He said when you join the APC, your sins are forgiven. So now he joins the APC. Why is his sins not forgiven? But that's just on a lighter note anyway. But what I'm saying is, there has been issues. The president stepped in. The governor was suspended. That's enough punishment. After the suspension, within that 6 months, they had a conversation. They had an understanding. Now, how many months now he just came back? The whole thing started. Does it mean that the president's intervention is no more respected? That's the implication. That's just the implication. So the thing is, I will ask Rivers State people, because I run an NGO, and what I'm doing is trying to make sure that we could have election that is free from you know, that is not war. We have lost lives enough. So Rivers people should take it easy. If there are issues, let them go through due process. But if these things happened before the reconciliation, no, it's a new chapter. This is a new Fubara. This is a new chapter.
A new Fubara.
I'm telling you.
Oh, hold on now. I like to comment. It's a new Fubara, but it's like, you know, the old things, they are not yet passed. It's like they're going back and forth again, the old thing, because I came Fubara of it in the polity. That's why the speaker and, of course, some other members of the House choose to, you understand, bring forth the impeachment notice. If you try to be an old Fubara and all things truly have passed away, how come they are accusing him of not meeting up with the agreement?
My brother.
But does anyone know what this
agreement is? Exactly where I wanted to go. That's wanted to go. The Constitution said gross corruption. Gross corruption from the governor. We want to know the gross corruption, not agreements. For crying out loud. Keeping agreement, is it constitutional? Is that what the Constitution said? That there should be agreement between the sitting governor and a man that brought him in? If it is a constitutional matter, let's be constitutional about it. Let them bring the gross corruption, not respecting agreement. Are you getting it? And I think the presidency should have reacted if Fubara did not respect. The whole president got involved in a thing, and you are going contrary to it. And if you look at it, you see that top leaders of APC, that like the secretary and most of them,
The chairman.
they're close to Fubara. They're speaking for him. So I don't believe that he will disrespect them, disrespect the president, and he will have the friendship of the ruling party. They should have called him to order.
Okay, now, Patricia, you just hold on. Now, you talked about the president, because I'm like wondering, why is Mr. President so quiet about this? Because it's audible to the deaf, the silence of Mr. President. Don't you think that is pointing to something that in this particular issue, there's no clear cut?
For me, that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. If the governor has gone contrary to what the president asked him to do, I think the presidency should have reacted.
I was going to come there before Wilson came in there. The president has been silenced and Governor Fubara has been speaking tough. Do you want to think, or do you want to say the president is backing up Fubara behind without speaking out?
Well, you know, Mr. President can be intelligent at times. To an extent, he's a man of few words. To an extent, he might not, say something. He could have sent people, go call this young man to order. But seeing that the people at the echelon leadership of his party is fraternizing with the governor, that's a body language. That speaks volume.
Someone saying it's based on party affiliation. After all, they take care of their own party member. All right, someone saying that Mr. President is not fully in support of the minister for the Capital Territory. He would have made a comment to stop him from doing what he's doing right now in Rivers. But no comment. Nobody knows the body language of Mr. President.
Like I said, you don't just look at the body language of Mr. President. Check people around him. People around him means him. Are you getting me? People around him, the secretary, national secretary of his party, represent the interest of the party. Mind you, Mr. President is under the APC party. And the party is after their interests. They want to win election. So I think they are dancing towards the platform that, you see, the minister, what he's doing right now is to show capacity. He has been going from local government to local government. And I think it's wrong because of the minister overseeing the affairs in Abuja. And even right now, have they lifted ban for campaigning?
Okay, let's come to judiciary. What role does the judiciary have to play with this impeachment process?
Well, the judiciary they'll be involved. They are not the one fronting the impeachment. Are you getting it? It is after they are done with impeachment. The governor can, just like what happened in Anambra State, P2B, the governor will now take it to the judiciary and say, look, interpret this thing better. So they look into it, the judiciary will look into it and say, we couldn't find you guilty, so we return you. So it's not yet time for the judiciary to act.
Okay. All right. Now, you talked about Wike going from local government to local government. You understand it. Someone saying the man is telling Mr. President that he is still the one in charge of the political structure in Rivers. Even when Rivers was, in the arms of PDP, the minister, Nyesom Wike, was able to deliver Rivers to Mr. President, who is of the APC. Mm-hmm. If you take a look at this trajectory, I don't think that this man might just be making the same point to Mr. President that even if I am not in APC, even if I am not in a political party, I am relevant to your cause come 2027. Hence, the silence of Mr. President.
My brother, don't you ever think that the outcome of any election will be based on a crowd, a politician gather in his rally. Because most crowds you see, they are paid crowd. Most people will come to collect their money, collect money there, but their heart is somewhere else. Mr. President has been in politics for too long time. I don't know the game you play around politics, he will not smile over. Do you understand? You see support groups, when they want to do election, they will meet you, we are 2,000, we are 4,000, we are 50,000. It could be a man and his wife. Do you understand?
That's true.
So the crowd going about, an experienced politician shouldn't do that. Going about to gather these people. You can pay people from Imo State, give them transport, they come down to anywhere. That's what we see in Nigeria. Are you getting it? Be in Abuja. And I don't even know why most political actors don't know when to quit. Why hitting the polity?
Are you saying the minister of the Federal Capital Territory should quit?
Oga, he is done with being a governor. That's what I'm saying. You don't make a governor, you don't make him a fool. You tell him how many you will. For example, I'm not saying particularly for Rivers, but you see where they will tell the governor. That's why the governor is always having problem with people that claim to be their godfathers. Is there any godfather that is having a free flow? Because they give them some condition, they will accept now. They just want to be governor. But when they accept, most of them don't know what it means to be the final arbiter. But when they get there, they will know what it means to be in charge. They would like to be in charge.
They would like to be in charge. That's the reason why I'm going to ask you this question. Wike is not in PDP, is not in APC. Does he have this power and the authority to do what he's doing right now?
I have a problem with Nigerian politics. No ideology. No ideology. See, I don't know how they interpret certain things in our constitution. We are in Ikeja. I live in Ikeja. Ikeja has a football team that will play against Etiosa. And I happened to be the captain of Ikeja football team. And I won the trophy. And I decided now to leave staying in Ikeja to go relocate to Ajoromi. Will I carry the trophy from Ikeja to Ajoromi because I was the captain? No ideology. That's what happens. You will come under PDP, contest election. People might not know your name. People might not know your face. But they know the umbrella, for example. They know the broom. They voted the broom. They voted APC. They voted PDP. You become governor. Midway, you will leave the party and join another party. Do you think the people voted you? The people voted the party. The party has the mandate. So when these things are tightened up, you will not see our politicians jumping from one place to another. How could you be APC? You are in PDP. You are in APC by principle. You are in PDP by action. Are you getting it? How could you play dual? Is it not in this country that they suspend people for anti-party activities, and someone comes up one day and just do anti-party to the glaring of everybody, and everybody is intimidated? I have been shouting, strengthening the institutions, weaken the personalities, strengthen the institutions, otherwise Nigeria will remain lawless.
All right. Now, if you take a look at the person of Nyesom Wike, some pundits are of the opinion that he is the only one in Nigeria that has successfully worked with two political parties without indictment. How true is this hypothesis? Because after all, he was in PDP. He's still saying he's in PDP. And he's working for APC, has done it successfully. Do you think that man has something that an average politician do not have?
Well, that's an aberration. For me, I have not seen it happen anywhere in the world. You can be a Democrat and a Republican at the same time.
So you can say he's the first of his kind.
He's the first of his kind. And what is introducing the system is dangerous. It's very toxic. You don't have a party, no ideology, nobody knows where you are going. It's very dangerous for Nigerian political circle. It's very dangerous. What if some other person does that? Another person does that. Before you know it, that's anarchy. So it must be condemned. And this shows the weakness of the PDP. I do have sympathy for the PDP some time ago. I've never been a card carrier of any political party.
Why
Because
do you say it shows the weakness of the PDP? I mean, they've suspended him. They said it openly.
No, they said the faction suspended his own faction also suspended them. So right now it's like a case of chaos.
that's what I'm telling you. You allow an individual to be more powerful than an institution. Where do you think this will take us to? If you don't checkmate him, one individual will be more powerful than the judiciary. More powerful than every other thing. It starts from political party. So curtail everyone who is crossing the line. PDP goofed when they were supposed to, put their feet on the ground and suspend him. They couldn't do that. Well, I know that he carried the party to an extent, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's because of Gluton. They wanted more money because he has the money, and they kept him. So these are the issues. That shows the weakness of the PDP. Okay, now you suspended him, he created a faction, and they're suspending the other faction.
Let me come in quickly. Let me come in there quickly. Do you think Wike will want to do this to APC too? If it's used and dumped, like everyone is saying, because it looks like, okay, Fubara is having upper hand right now, like you said. The chairperson of the APC, the secretary and all that are speaking for Fubara. And the president is silent. So Wike is beginning to think, oh, I'm being used and I'll be dumped. Do you think he will want to destroy APC too?
I don't know how true this story was, but allegedly when a former governor of Abia State had an issue like this with his predecessor, that's Dr. Joseph Khan versus Theodore Orji.
Orji, yeah.
Now when Theodore pulled out from Orji, and then the then President Obasanjo, that's what the story said. He wanted to go join the then Obasanjo. And then the story said Obasanjo told him, someone who can betray his master can betray any other person. You don't change the color of the leopard at old age. No rain can wash it out.
And this analogy goes in both ways also, because some are saying Fubara betrayed Wike. So where would the trust come from?
Well, I think for me, it could be because, to an extent, because, most politicians are investors.
Yeah.
They're businessmen. They invested in you. All right? You become the face representing several interests. But I have a problem where you just tightened up everything. A governor will spend 8 years without any achievement because of the hurdles. Channels is servicing. I don't believe that. The money is for the state.
But Wilson.
Yeah.
We still don't even know what this tussle between Fubara and Wike is. Do you?
Okay, hold on. I think we should add a question to Bishop. Bishop, when all these things started, the minister of the Federal Capital Territory said something. Said, look, do not tamper with my structure. That was his cry. It was the same structure that brought in Fubara. It was the same structure that factored each member according to their pattern. Now, people like say that Mr. President is looking at who controls the structure in Rivers State before he makes any comment. From your own observations, who do you think still is a control of the political structure in Rivers? Is it Wike or the governor of Fubara?
Well, I tell you, the ability of someone controlling a structure more than the governor himself. This has caused problem in very many states in Nigeria. Do you understand? But at the end of the day, you see that it is the governor who controls the structure.
Who is supposed to control the structure?
That's the word I'm looking for. Who is supposed to right now in Rivers? Who is, because a man is moved from one local government to the other. He's still getting so many people following him, supporting him, saying what the sitting governor is doing or what he has done is very, very wrong. We're talking about structure. From your own analysis, from what you can see right now in Rivers State, who do you think is in charge of the structure?
Rivers is a case, but you cannot say until the election. Because let me tell you, I say this again. The man at the helm of affairs of Rivers State, come what may, has the structure. Today, Nyesom Wike is shooting from Abuja. Are you getting me? If I were him, and if I were Fubara, I don't support people betraying people. If there is a betrayal somewhere, they should go and reconcile their differences, but never to the detriment of the people.
Just one more thing, just before I call it up, just one more thing. You talked about the governor being in charge of the structure. If the governor is in charge of the structure, how come they've been able to do without Wike? How come Wike is to give him headache? Whenever it comes to Rivers, you get to see throngs of supporters, followers, even in their house, singing his praise.
Wike is still dictating what should happen in Rivers.
Rivers. But that's what I'm saying. Nobody should dictate. You should advise a governor. You don't dictate for a governor. You advise him. People were governors before Wike came. People made him governor. Has he not betrayed anybody? So can anybody come and say, I have never betrayed anybody? People also have things to say about him, as much as he has things to say about people.
Okay, Bishop.
But at a point, nowhere to quit and reconcile for the peace
let's quickly
of the state.
This one last question, just 1 minute. Way forward and resolution. What's the way forward and resolution? So this shouldn't keep affecting the people of Rivers State. What do you think the way forward should be?
Roundtable talk. Negotiation. Fubara has to lose something. Wike has to lose something. They have to come at the middle of it, where it is not all that Wike wants and not all that Fubara wants. They have to cut off some things and come to a point of understanding. They are brothers. They should reconcile. No matter what happens, you see, round table sitting is always the last. But why the war? Where you can negotiate.
Yeah, right. Because it stands right now. There have been 3 roundtable talks. The first one, when Fubara said, I cannot be the governor without being the governor. That one passed. The second one, why he went also to be suspended. Second roundtable. The third roundtable was what that brought him back. Maybe they're going for the fourth roundtable. You never can tell. All right.
You can't have roundtable enough until peace speaks.
Thank you, Bishop.
Okay.
As always. And then Wilson, thank you so much for co-anchoring with me. I am Patricia Urimu Gabriel. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the news update on Independent Television. I am Anuoluwakpo Stevens. The governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Gbebolo, has encouraged members of the APC and intended persons to freely join the party in its membership drive ahead of the forthcoming general elections. The governor made the appeal while inspecting the ongoing e-registration exercise of the party at his hometown, Ira, Asa Central Local Government Area of the state. Government House correspondent Kingsley Uchebu reports that the governor was officially registered and presented the e-registration card as the first member of the party in the state.
His Excellency, we present the membership e-registration to you.
Official presentation of the 001 e-registration card to Governor Gbebolo at his Irua residence affirms his status as the first APC member in Edo State. The governor, who expressed satisfaction at the exercise, encouraged members of the APC and intending persons to freely join the party in its membership drive ahead the forthcoming general elections.
We expect every APC member should have their membership card through the e-registration. Now I have my 001 as Edo governor, being #1 citizen of Edo, so I have my registered APC card now. I want to say that every citizen, every APC member should go and register.
Coordinator of the APC e-registration exercise in Esan Central, Honorable Eugene Osadebawen, said the e-registration exercise will give equal opportunities to members of the party, urging more interested persons to take advantage of the ongoing process.
This exercise is going to give equal opportunities to all party members, and that's why we are urging all the party members to go to their various polling units to register.
The presentation is part of the state chapter of the APC strategy at galvanizing votes at the grassroots and getting more people into the party for inclusive governance in Edo State. Kingsley Uchebu, ITV News.
A prominent Edo indigene, Dr. Pedro Obaseki, has announced his decision to seek justice through the court following what he described as his brutal public abduction, violent assault, and extrajudicial humiliation in Benin City on December 28, 2025. In a strongly worded press statement, Dr. Obaseki said the decision was taken after extensive consultations with his wife and children, members of the Obaseki family and clan, senior legal advisor, and represented elders. He stressed that the move was driven not by revenge or political motives, but by the need for accountability, deterrence, and the protection of human dignity. According to the statement, Dr. Obaseki was forcefully seized in public by armed men in a brazen daylight operation that he said was designed to instill fear in the wider population. He was reportedly beaten, stripped naked, threatened with death, and paraded along major roads in Benin City, while his ordeal was recorded and live-streamed by his attackers. He was later detained for several hours without any disclosed allegation or lawful charge, despite sustaining injuries. Dr. Obaseki described the incident as a grave violation of his fundamental rights and said the act amounted to terrorism-related violence under Nigerian law, citing the use of armed force, explicit threat to life, public intimidation, and the deliberate creation of fear beyond the immediate victim. It is disclosed that during the incident, his abductors claimed they were acting on the instructions of the Oba of Benin. However, he confirmed that this claim has been formally and expressly refuted by the Benin Traditional Council, which issued a widely publicized letter categorically denying any involvement, authorization, or prior knowledge of the act. Dr. Obaseki said he welcomed and accepted the clarification as the official position of the palace and noted it was part of the public record. He emphasized that the legal actions now underway are directed strictly at the individual perpetrators and any persons who may be found through due process to have aided, facilitated, or enabled the offences, whether through direct action, impersonation of authority, abuse of office, or remission. To pursue the matter, Dr. Obaseki said he has held consultations with renowned human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, as lead counsel. He said both civil and criminal proceedings would be pursued concurrently in line with Nigerian international law and with full respect for the presumption of innocence. Given the seriousness of the allegations and their widespread implications for public safety and the rule of law, Dr. Obaseki also confirmed that he has formally notified and is engaging international human rights bodies and partners. He said the step was aimed at ensuring independent oversight, transparency, and proper monitoring of investigations and judicial processes, in line with Nigeria's constitutional obligations and international commitment. Dr. Obaseki stated that his action was not only to restore his personal dignity and protect his family, but also to send a clear message that no individual or group has the right to abduct, brutalize, or publicly dehumanize any citizen outside the law. He added that out of respect for ongoing investigations and court proceedings, he would make no further factual or evidentiary comment at this stage. Well, still on the news, joy and excitement filled the air on Saturday at the Bertram Event Center on Sapele Road, Benin City, as family, friends, and well-wishers gathered to celebrate the 70th birthday of Madame Elizabeth Osaze-Nayar, fondly known as John 14:14, a name inspired by her strong belief in the power of a Bible verse. Donald Emier reports.
The 70th birthday celebration of Madame Elizabeth Osaze-Nayar, popularly called John 14:14, was marked on Saturday with songs, dancing, and heartfelt tributes at the Rechem Event Center on Sapele Road, Benin City. The celebrant took to the dance floor in high spirits, and her children, relatives, and well-wishers joined her in celebration, expressing gratitude for a life they described as prayerful, inspiring, and impactful. In their remarks, her children and other family members poured encomiums on her, praising her virtues, discipline, and unwavering faith.
I wish her a long life and prosperity. I wish her 120 years with good health and prosperity.
I wish her good health. I wish her more money. On behalf of my siblings and I, we say happy birthday to you, Mom. You are the best mom ever. If I'm still coming to another one again, I will still choose you.
She's so lovely, peaceful. She's a mother to everyone.
I pray for her. Her days on earth will be longer.
She's a wonderful woman. She took all of us, the in-laws, as her son.
God will keep her in good health and see her children.
Madame Osaze-Nayar explained that her nickname, John 14:14, reflects her deep conviction in the Bible verse, which she says has guided her life and strengthened her belief in answered prayers.
I feel happy. I feel great for my life. All my children, I pray for them who celebrate me.
The highlight of the event was the cutting of the birthday cake amid cheers and expression of gratitude to God. From Benin, Donald Emier, ITV News.
And that ends the news update on Independent Television. Many thanks for watching. I am Anuluwapo Stevens. Up next is TMI Socials. Good morning. This is TMI Socials. I am Anuoluwakpo Stevens. Or better still, call me a social media butterfly. Now, over the weekend, we had a lot of drama on the political scene and also in sports as well. But we'll kickstart with 4 major trending issues this morning. Now, Abubakar Atiku Abubakar, son of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, has defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressive Congress, the APC, and declared support for President Bola Tinubu's second-term bid. Mr. Abubakar was received into the APC on Thursday at the National Assembly by the Deputy Senate President, Barrio Jibrim, alongside other party leaders from the Northeast geopolitical zone. He explained that his decision to join the ruling party was due to the outstanding leadership of the Deputy Senate President. Now let's take a listen to him.
My exit from my former party, where we worked in 2023, and to the APC. I will work with His Excellency Senator Barrow to actualize the second-term bid of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And also, to this effect, I am ushering and directing all coordinators from our association to join the APC and work with President Tinubu.
A clear case of wonder shall never end. But how did his father, Vice President Atiku Abubakar, take this online? Let's have his tweet. Now, he says, and I read, okay, so he says the decision of his son, Atiku Abubakar, to join the APC is strongly, okay, and then with so many things that he said there, in a democracy, such choices are neither unusual nor alarming, even when family and politics insert. As a Democrat, I do not coerce my own children in matters of conscience, and I certainly will not coerce Nigerians. What truly concerns me is the poor governance of the APC and the severe economic and social hardships it has imposed on our people. I remain resolute in working with like-minded patriots to restore good governance and enforce Nigeria's a credible alternative that brings relief, hope, and progress. All right, now how did you take this as a Nigerian? This user on X says, charity begins at home, sir. Let's hope he is an undercover agent, because it doesn't make sense that your own son doesn't believe in what you are preaching. It's well. Absolutely. And another user on X wrote, if your own son doesn't believe in you, why should we? Interesting question. Now, finally, this user on X says, all now politics. Anyway, moving away from that, the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has downplayed the impeachment notice against him by the Rivers State House of Assembly, describing it as a love letter and insisting he remains focused on governance. The governor made a remark while addressing supporters in Port Harcourt shortly after lawmakers moved to begin impeachment proceedings against him and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. His comments were greeted with loud cheers from the crowd as he appeared calm and unbothered by the political tension in the state. Take a look.
When you're having your tournament, there's always one problem. In the year 2024, you're having the tournament, you came to me and I made some promises. Almighty God, that January was here. 2025, in fact, you already know the drama we're facing. You didn't even bother to come near me, so I understand. This 2026, I thought you would have been the finest. They just landed me a love letter. So you understand. But that notwithstanding, we must move on. We must carry out our responsibility as government, and we must continue to support everyone
It's always an unending drama for the people of Rivers State and, of course, Rivers State. Moving over to tweets and reactions on how you took this, we start off with this user who wrote, "I love this energy. That's why becoming part of them to conquer Wike is the best way forward." Another user reacting to this on X says, "To fight power, you need to use power." Well, on Instagram, this user has this to say, "What do you expect Sim to say to his supporters when he already met Tinubu to upgrade him to eSIM?" Now, finally, on the story, this user wrote, "Definition of no grief for anybody." Now, away from the shenanigans in River State, we move over to Bayelsa State, where we saw a trending video online, and the Bayelsa State Police Commissioner has reacted to it. Now, the Bayelsa State Commissioner of Police, Iyama Edebo, has ordered the arrest of a policeman captured in a viral video assaulting a keke rider in Yenagoa. The footage, which circulated widely on social media, showed the rider standing beside his tricycle while lamenting that some policemen had been chasing him. He said he had earlier explained to the officers that he was unwell and on his way to treat himself. Moments later, the officers appeared at the scene and initially confronted a resident who was recording the incident, ordering the person to stop filming and insisting that there was no right to record them. Take a look.
I just let this in my body, the pain. I won't go inject my body. Since you got close then, you don't close. That will do you look like I swear. You get associated, eh? I'm not gonna very campus. But I'm going to go back out.
Well, pathetic indeed. Moving over to reactions online, this user wrote, "Some Nigerian police officers lack basic professionalism and respect for human dignity." Another user on X says, let's have other reactions to this. This one also says, and some persons are calling for the arrest of this particular officers. This user wrote, "Driving or riding without a valid license is illegal anywhere in the world. Let's say things as it is." Well, true, but this other one also responding online has this to say, "This is highly barbaric and unacceptable. No way this should be. Let's go. NPF should please do the needful on these officers and give justice to the man. You can't be treating fellow citizens like this. Expect the country to progress. This is impossible." Now, finally, on the story, this user wrote, if we could have the final tweet on the story. This one says, "These guys are inherently wicked. I sometimes wonder why the Nigerian police hate the citizens of this country so much, because the way they treat people cannot be described as anything else but hatred." Now, finally, we take our attention out of the country as we move over to Uganda, where over the weekend, Uganda had their election. And to let you know that Uganda's long-serving president, Museveni, has been declared the winner of the country's presidential election. Tell you what, extending his 4-decade grip of power, 4 decades, amid strong objections from opposition. According to the Electoral Commission, Museveni, 81 years old, secured 71% of the votes, earning him a 7th term in office after 40 years as president. Let's have a feel of the election, because some persons actually lamented over snatching of ballistics and electoral officers taking the ballot paper. Take a look.
Tiyo mshahara bakwira zinga zo kwiza kuri Nyungwe. Bakiriya nano ni kurombo mugwanyi ni nimwe ucande. Bakiriya.
Now let's listen to Museveni after the election and after he was declared the winner of the election. Take a look.
10 million of my people did not turn up. They would have been embarrassed badly. Because you see, we got 8 million votes about. But remember, we have got, when we reviewed the membership on the 6th of May, you remember we had 21 million members.
Imagine being president of a country for 40 years. Let's take 2 reactions and we'll get to wrap things up. This user wrote, congratulations, President Museveni, on your re-election as President of the Republic of Uganda. I extend my best wishes to you and the people of Uganda as you continue to serve the nation for the prosperity of your people. I look forward to the continued strong and productive cooperation between our 2 countries. Now, another user back here in Nigeria wrote, what is better, is having the same president for 40 years or having different presidents who steal from you the same way? A clear case of choose your pain right now. But anyway, that's how we get to wrap things up this morning on TMI Socials. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. And from all of us on This Morning on ITV, we'll see you again tomorrow.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.